And we are back onto the rift for game number 2 between Predictive Gaming Odin and Sensei Squad. Sensei Squad on the red side this time. Nicholas in the top lane on the Poppy, Aquatic Bear on the Viego, in the jungle Veneris on Victor in the mid lane, and Matrix Shadow, and you know the kid rounding it out with the Caitlyn and the Morgana.
And for Predictive Gaming Odin on the blue side, we got TTBP Huffzone in the top lane. On Camille, we have PG Charizard on Wukong in the jungle, Whole Grain Man on Ari in the mid lane, Odd Mitch with the Ezreal, and surprise, whipping out the brand in this one, which, by the way, according to Pro Comps, which is the official word of everything in terms of League, brand is a weak pick against Morgana. So good luck. Surprise! I don't know how well this is going to go, as we do see wards being placed by both teams, kind of trying to suss out where these jungle starts are. But Sweeper will come through as well, and but I think they probably will still have a fairly good idea of where Aquatic Bear starts. I'm interested to see if this bot lane gives it away or not.
Oh, we're getting the early 2v2 action in the bottom lane. Surprise gets burned up with the traps, flashing forward, and Matrix Shadow's gonna find the first blood. And you know what we said in the oh, you know the kid is sniping right now. A second one comes through here. You know we talked about it in the draft, and you know what Pro Comp says? Brand is a bad pick into Morgana.
Yeah, dude. The one-of-a-kind drafting tool, CCS 25, U2.
Oh, another one!
Oh!
DJ Khaled, what does he say? Matrix Shadow gonna find a second kill of the game, and you know the kid is hitting it right now.
Yeah, and I mean this is actually some truly impressive bindings, and Rychains, you said Ezreal should never in any century or million years be hit by Morgana bindings. Well, he's already been hit by 2, and to be fair, I guess level 1 is maybe the exception to that, but not respecting overall, I would say on Mitch there with the positioning. Those did hit like just on the very edge for, you know, the kid. So pretty impressive, and this is exactly what this bottom lane wants to do early on. So we are going to see an invade here.
Little invade from Aquatic Bear, gonna find Charizard on his red buff as Matrix Shadow is here as well. Charizard has to burn the smite. We'll try to flash away to safety. This Whole Grain Man's gonna be first on the roam, and this will be a little bit interesting here. Whole Grain Man could now be caught. Uh-oh, Whole Grain Man's caught in the middle. It's a flash bind. He connects from you know the kid. You know him, Aquatic Bear on the back side, and Odd Mitch is gonna have to flash over the wall. You know exactly who it is. That's the kid right there.
Oh yeah, you know who it is. Is he scripting? Seriously, like this doesn't even look like the same. Like, I mean, no disrespect, but you know, last game on Renata, I feel like we saw, you know, the kid getting picked off quite a bit. This game just really taking that Pro Comp's advice and running with it here in that matchup. And Odd Mitch now is level 2, but he was still level 1 during that jungle engagement, so had to burn the flash to get over the wall, and all of a sudden is going to look a lot more vulnerable. Huffzone though.
Nice usage of the W, and yeah, it's just gonna be a trade 1-for-1 there with that Q explosion coming back and taking down Huffzone. So Nicholas makes the best out of a pretty bad situation and ends up trading 1-for-1.
Yeah, and I mean, and crucially, you know, does end up denying quite a bit of XP to P Huffzone there in that wave that was going to crash as well. So will be picked up instead by Charizard, so doesn't go to waste. But it is Nicholas finding an advantage in the 1v2 in the top lane off of what I think is just really a really copium gank there coming through from Charizard. Like, if I'm Huffzone in that situation, there are just too many juicy minions that you want to pick up under that turret, and probably will be able to. So I feel like I would be screaming for him not to continue coming, but he does opt into it, and just that minion damage makes all the difference. As I think that's like the first one he's missed.
And I mean, if you think about it, like, if Charizard wasn't there, Huffzone would have just gotten solo killed, so maybe it was good that he ended up being there, but...
Yeah. I mean, I think he wouldn't have... I don't think he would have opted into the one-on-one, though, if he wasn't there. But I see what you're saying. I mean, he did... Like, Huffzone obviously did choose to engage in that situation, so it is going to be pushing back towards Nicholas, which is probably what he wants, as... Aquatic Bear is in the area, but I'm not going to be able to set anything up.
Yeah, I mean, it is really impossible to press E on Camille when you're playing against a Poppy, just because of that. I think it's called
Yep.
steadfast presence.
Yep.
But like, you're just never gonna get out, and you're gonna take damage, and you're gonna lose your E cooldown, and the dragon is apparently gonna go over to PGO here. The bind's gonna land, but still numbers advantages. Oh, Veneris! Maybe solo kill in the mid lane. Whole grain man! Yes, it is enough with the ignite. And Whole grain man finds the solo kill in the mid lane.
Yeah, it doesn't even need the ultimate to make it happen, and Aquatic Bear will not be opting into this 1v1, as Whole Grain Man would probably just use the Spirit Rush to get out of there. So PGO able to pick up the dragon and a kill in the mid lane at the same time. You know, that shouldn't happen. That's not how it should work. But Whole Grain hitting those skill shots, and Veneris just once again playing out of position on these sort of vulnerable champions that just can't afford to do so. And they have put really, you know, this game and last game, all of their eggs in the Veneris and Matrix Shadow basket here. You know, Viego does provide, I would say, a lot more damage as the game goes on than Volibear. But putting this amount of kind of stock in both your mid lane and your ADC means that you can't afford to play that aggressive early and end up dying. So Whole Grain now being able to pick up that kill probably will look to try to get some roams going with that level 6 that has been picked up also for the Ahri. So probably going to start to see more cross map plays.
Yeah, I would hope to see some more cross map plays, but I mean, interestingly enough here, the lead for Matrix Shadow and, you know, the kid in this bot lane is not as much as I would expect it to be. I mean, okay, it's a 900 gold lead, but like,
Yeah.
I would expect a bigger CS lead just from a Caitlyn in general, and then the fact that Caitlyn has 2 kills as well. I mean, yeah, you know, Ezreal's hard to track down and lock down, but nonetheless, I mean, I kind of expect a little more, I think.
Yeah, and we got Viego wrapping around here mid.
Whole Grain man, ooh, nice flash with the stun, but Spirit Rush. I mean, I don't know. It's a little bit committal from Aquatic Bear there.
Yeah, when that cooldown is up, it's really difficult to catch out this Ahri, even when Whole Grain was pretty far pushed up there. And just to expand on what you were saying before in terms of the lead in the bot lane, I think kind of for Caitlyn, you take for granted that she's going to get a lead as a part of kind of your assessment of this champion, right? Because if she doesn't get a lead, she doesn't remain competitive at all. And as the bindings have now started to not be quite as cracked and accurate, it is getting more difficult for them.
1v1 in the top lane. Oh, Aquatic Bear, though, might be in trouble.
No Spirit Rush.
Charizard is hitting the Herald, but will not come down. And a lot of damage traded from Whole Grain Man, so feeling a lot back there. But look at Nicholas. He's first on the play, and Husum can't come to this, so...
Yeah, he doesn't have TP.
You have to get off the Herald and sort of, you know, seed that play.
Yeah, they do have to give that one away, and I mean, it definitely did look like Aquatic Bear might have been in a little bit of danger there at first, but Veneris now, you know, like sitting really far back after dying earlier, and as I say that, burns the gravity well and takes a big trade, so now going to be a little bit vulnerable, but really trying to find kind of that midpoint for this Victor to be able to not be so far up that you're dying, but also not be so far back that you can't assist. But he will be able to pick up this wave, so that's going to be big for him. We know that our Victor, once he upgrades his laser, the wave clear gets a lot more intense and it's a lot more difficult to deal with. So right now, though, just, you know, kind of assessing where we are at with the gold. Looks like it's, you know, about a 1.3k, if I can do math correctly, gold lead for Sensei squad. So both games, they've been able to come out strong in the early game, and they've definitely picked towards that, at least in the bot lane. So again, can they translate it into the later stages is what we still have to question here.
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of saw a similar thing last game, right? And, you know, just the early game lead for Sensei squad, and, you know, PGO was able to take that game over. So we'll see what happens here. I really want to see Sensei squad kind of being more cognizant in the game as it moves to, you know, past the 15-minute mark. But gank mid, Whole Grain man Spirit Rush. But the Soul Shock was going to get broken.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, nothing really in that play. But
That's worth, I think.
Yeah.
It's just such a big cooldown for the RA, and we do see there might be some kind of engagement going on in the bot lane, or bot river, rather. We don't know, because we're just watching these top laners, too. But
oh!
fair enough.
Cancel, Dick Walls! Oh! That was the cutest, the next dimension, but going back in Hextech Ultimatum, and Hearthstone is going to be able to turn it around and find the solo kill? No way, dude.
Oh, the super top strikes again,
Aquatic
but
Bear.
can they take advantage?
Charizard going in, taken very low as the binding's gonna land onto Odd Mitch, and he's rooted there for 10 years. Charm's gonna find the mark on to Matrix, and Matrix has to run for the hills, but gets one-shotted by Whole Grain Man. Finds the 450 gold shutdown. And now 3v3. Oh no, 4v3. Teleport coming in. Teleport should be coming for both of these top laners, I think. Should be 4v4. We'll see what happens.
Might just be Sensei giving it away, not wanting to burn the teleport, and you know, to some extent I do understand this call. They don't necessarily want to force fights, which was what plagued them last game. That's really what lost them the game, was at this point, you know, coin flipping sort of for every single objective. So I think that there is, it is kind of a smart call in a way to say, hey, we know that Hearthstone has already used the teleport. They have kind of the advantage in terms of rotations around this dragon, having their members in the right place at the right time. So instead, we're just going to hedge our bets on a later fight and save this teleport for the Poppy. So it's a hard play to kind of figure out who comes out on top until we see what they can do with the teleport.
No, Spirit Rush. Oh, Aquatic Bear goes at it again. No damage.
No,
oh, Spirit Rush just came up. Wow. I mean, Aquatic Bear is just repeat ganking with Flash on cooldown in this mid lane with the Flash stuns, but somehow Whole Grain Man is still living, you know?
Yeah, but it does keep pressure on the Ari. I feel like it kind of puts in the back of her mind all the time that you can't be pushing up and threatening Veneris, because there might be a Viego in the bush just waiting to take you down if you do that. And for Aquatic Bear, as the captain, we talked about, as the leader of this team, does have more agency to scale on Viego than something like the Bola Bear, which just kind of becomes a stun bot at a certain point in the game. So will be wrapped around by a couple members here, as he will get out, was able to steal the blue buff. So I think that he has set himself up for success on this pick. Does find himself up ahead of the Wukong in farm overall, as well as gold, is sitting about 600 gold ahead. So here's his chance.
Here we go. Herald is going to be picked up by PGO, as the gold lead is still about 1.5k in favor of Sensei squad, but been pretty static. I mean, the objectives have been all PGO in this entire game. So definitely a plus for them in that aspect of it, and you can see the wave clear from Brand just destroys the entire wave.
Yeah, PGO definitely doing a nice job fixing what was going wrong last game, and getting some of that early gold, or rather, I'm sorry, excuse me, trying to get some of that push onto the turrets, or rather at least not letting their turrets die so early. And, you know, as the turret plating does fall at 14 minutes, you have to say, Chains, with a Caitlyn, yes, Matrix Shadow does still have the advantage, but you would have liked to see a lot more turret plating taken down before this 14-minute mark.
Absolutely. So now in trouble. He is canceled out. Hextech Ultimatum is going to get one isolated. Ace in the hole is coming through over the top side, and Matrix Shadow gonna get credit for that kill with the ace in the hole. And, you know, like we were saying, that the fact that the tower is only half HP bot lane is almost insulting if you're playing Caitlyn Morgana and you get a double kill at like level 1.
Yeah, and it would be one thing if, you know, there was kind of a camp set up from Wukong, but I don't really feel like that's what we've seen as nice wave clear.
Grand Man and Veneris. Trump's gonna land, and yeah, I mean, this should just... Okay.
What?
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Pan away.
Yeah, we just haven't... All right. Well, I have nothing more to say about that. Pretty self-explanatory. But it does mean that Whole Grain Man is going to be really dangerous. We'll be able to one rotation pretty much everyone but Nikolals, I would say, over on the side of Sensei squad. But Zone
going in. Canceled out, and yeah, I mean, Nick's just gonna be able to take that blast cone of the wall and take his reset in peace. But Dragon spawning in 1 minute, potential soul point opportunity for PGO here. Gold lead has increased to about 1.9k, so at least the gold lead is not staying completely stagnant for Sensei squad. Gonna be securing this bot lane river, and trying to find their first dragon of the game here. We'll see if they can, but definitely looking forward and putting their resources into this bottom side for now.
Yeah, and they have struggled with setting up for these dragons last game and this game as well. Already 2 dragon lead, a surprise.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and just goodbye. Surprise, you're dead again. Veneris, oh no, Veneris is gonna be dead again as Charizard flashing in, and Cyclone's gonna find the knockups. Ooh,
Calculated.
flash, Black Shield, is it enough?
He's got it.
For Poppy? No.
Oh.
Sidestepped by Charizard, and Charizard's running for the hills. Does Nicolau have the speed coming through with the charge, and the hammer will find the kill there as someone's gonna bring up Shelly into this top lane. Sensei squad is going to be taking this Herald in the bottom lane, or taking the Dragon in the bottom lane.
Yeah, all in all, I think it could be much worse with the Herald drop. They are going to get this mid lane turret, which is an extra advantage that they will Matrix.
Whole Grain Man going for it, and yeah, I mean, Matrix Shadow is gonna go golden to delay the inevitable, but a 450 gold shutdown again goes over to Whole Grain Man on this Ahri, and Shelly's gonna get 2 charges in this top lane, so pretty solid there as 2 towers are gonna fall in favor of PGO, and we'll see if Hearthstone wants to continue pushing forward here. You can see Bramble Vest completed for Nicolau, so it's gonna feel nice. The kids finding that mark with the binding. Oh, as the E is just so powerful by Hearthstone when it's not blocked out by that Poppy W. Surprise was there just for the backups, just in case, but for the time being, no more fighting has occurred, and I'm just gonna be pushing out waves.
Yeah, they will, and just with that mid lane turret going down, Matrix Shadow getting picked off, and Aquatic Bear had said in his interview, it's these bad habits, it's these little mistakes, and if there's one thing we know about bad habits, it's that they die hard. And we continue to see that from Veneris as well as Matrix Shadow in this series, getting caught out, and Aquatic Bear as well, I'll say, just kind of not understanding the limits of the champions that they are facing, and maybe not just having as much respect as they need to. So if they could clean that up, I think that these games would be a really different story. I mean, Sensei squad is still in the gold lead. I do want to keep that in mind. But as we see PGO start to take advantages here and there, you can't help but think back to the last game when PGO was so dominant in the team fights, and they are set up to have that kind of pick style that they had last game and do the same thing again.
Nicolau's gonna walk into Whole Grain Man and just get CC'd for an eternity. Gonna go down. His object's gonna take down, but Charizard on the other side is spinning, but Matrix Shadow will find the kill there. Surprise. Looking for some damage over the wall, but not gonna find much, just a W. And yeah, I mean, you know what they say, history repeats itself. And it's kind of looking like that here with the neutral objectives all going over to PGO. Yeah, they had a little bit of a sus early game, but their team fighting is coming back. The gold lead is still only 1k, right? So it's very negligible. I mean, the gold lead is relatively negligible.
Yeah.
And just like that, just like that, the gold lead is going to shrink even further as Hearthstone's going to take down that tier 2 in the top lane. Grab 600 gold for himself there, but I mean, just chipping away. PGO just chipping away at this lead, and it seems like this is, obviously this is where they're at in the season, the story of their team, but it seems like this is where they're the most comfortable.
Yeah, it does. And speaking of the story of these teams, Nicolau's playing 2 tanks so far against Hearthstone in the top lane is a little bit disappointing to me, because this is a player that we've seen pretty much exclusively on kind of carry champions, things like the Aurelia, things like, even the Fiora, as well as Gwen, Jax, Camille. I can read them off, Mordekaiser as well, Jace. So this is kind of off-brand for him. And even though I think out of all the members, I've probably been the happiest with the performance of Nicolau's. It hasn't been the best.
Whole Grain Man onto Veneris, and I mean, we've seen this story before. Another solo kill for Whole Grain Man. He has been dominating this mid matchup in this series so far. And, you know, Veneris got to figure it out. Charizard and Aquatic Bear going to find each other here. We'll see this 1v1 looking to a Cyclone. It's going to be spinning. The Aquatic Bear is trying to kite it out. You don't really have the numbers. So don't want to overextend too far. Charizard just going to dip out of here, but...
Yeah.
Dragon's spawning in a minute.
Does have another Herald in inventory.
Yeah, and I think... Oh my gosh, Whole Grain Man under the tower. But this is kind of the time where Camille is going to start winning this 1v1 matchup. Just based on the items. You can see Divine Thunder picked up Tiamat and Steel Shoes. But, you know, Nicholas still fighting away. Nicholas can still win this. Does have the Bramble Vest completed. And here we go. I mean, look at the Q2 damage from Hearthstone there. Just taking almost a half of Nicholas' HP and, you know, building full armor. So, obviously that Q2 does true damage. But either way. Hearthstone,
yeah, I mean, it's
kind of minus solo kill.
It's kind of the same thing. Yeah, he's gonna look. It's kind of, and it is a lot of this matchup is the skill matchup with hitting the Steadfast Presidents at the right moment. But you know, again, repeat of last game, the Hearthstone's champion is just going to end up outscaling. Aquatic Bear is trying to chase him down, but not going to happen. And you know, they both do a substantial amount of damage.
Oh my god, man! Please.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't.
Please stop. Veneris again. In the silent. Oh, looking to try and turn it around actually, but Ignite taking down. I think it's enough. Yeah, it should be enough there. Just taking down.
Okay, that was respectable at
least. It was close at least, but I don't know. I mean, I can only imagine that there was some sort of misplay from Whole Grain Man to make that close at all. I mean, I guess Verdant Barrier picked up, but
yeah. I mean, imagine how close it would be if he didn't have like 3 solo kills. It would definitely be a lot. I mean, you know, because this Victor, in my opinion, the Victor scales much heavier than the Ari as far as just, you know, both champions have a lot of damage, but for Victor, I feel like it's a little bit easier to execute. Getting the damage off, you don't necessarily need to dump it onto one character to be successful as the game goes on. But again, like I referenced, when Veneris finds himself at such a deficit at this point, you just can't. I mean, you can't afford to be walking up that far. I mean, you know, I don't know. There's no point in continuing to harp on it, I suppose, as, you know, people understand, and these players are all better than I am, but, you know, we'll see if I would like to see Sensei have, again, just a little bit more discipline. I think they can do it, you know. I believe in them. I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe in them. So, yeah, let's see. You know, this Rift Herald is ticking down. He's got to drop it soon.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I think Sensei can do it, and they're showing that they can gain early game advantages, just having a little bit of trouble, you know, executing them into the late game here. Gold lead is back in favor of PGO here, about 500, as the Herald is just going to be used in the bottom lane. I think it was timing out there, so had to use that. And we'll see now with this 1v1 if they can do anything. A lot of the members of PGO are actually, you know, postured around this Baron. So they might look to do that if Aquatic Bear shows bot lane. And I think that's what they're going to do. Yeah, Aquatic Bear shows bot lane, and the 4 members strong of PGO are just hitting the Baron. And no one from Sensei is checking, and Aquatic Bear is just going to get solo kills. Next ultimate over the top, and yeah, and Hearthstone securing a solo kill there on the other side of the map. The team securing the Baron, and PGO is starting to run away with this one.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it looks like Sensei almost seems kind of tilted to me. The way that Veneris got caught earlier, particularly that last time, and then, you know, everything that's going on now.
Hammer of Justice. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean,
it just seems like they're kind of trying to force things that aren't really there. That is not how they win this game. But I mean, you know, again, I think that they did set themselves up in a position where they certainly could have been. Well, I mean, you know, they're still in the game. They're not like way out of it, to be honest. But they could have set themselves up for a little bit more success. Just playing around kind of what their team is built to do with this Poppy. I don't feel like they've gotten a lot of team fighting done around Nick Lawls, but also credit to Hearthstone for locking him down with the split push. But now we're fighting.
Yeah. I mean, here we go. We'll see if Aquatic Bear can do anything here, as Hearthstone looking for the 1v2, taking pretty low as the ultimates are coming down from everyone, and the shutdown's going to go over to Aquatic Bear, but the rest of the team is coming. Surprise! face tanking, you know, frontlining there, and Surprise is gonna go down as a double kill comes through. Resets are flying as Aquatic Bear. Oh, look at the damage from Whole Grain Man. He's gonna find a double kill on the backside as Charizard is gonna take down, you know, the kid. Oh my gosh, Veneris is looking for the smoke, flashing forward, but you know, nothing is cooking right now. A triple kill for Whole Grain Man, and PGO is gonna be pushing down this bottom lane.
And it was a 4v4, both teams missing their AD carry, but Whole Grain Man shining through, now has the 1k gold bounty on his head for a reason. 9 kills picked up so far and just 1 death on this Ahri, which has been really powerful. And I put a spotlight on Whole Grain Man in the champion select, saying that this is a difficult champion to play, and it's about the strength of the particular Ahri player that determines the strength of the pick, and Whole Grain Man has shown us that it can be a strong pick for PGO.
I agree. I mean, you mentioned it in the select, is, you know, this champion in Ahri is only as good as the player who's playing it. And Whole Grain Man has been looking very, very nice, playing it very, very effectively in this lane, being able to, you know, take over and find a few solo kills on Veneris in the side lanes, and just kind of being an overall menace here. Dragon spawning in 30 seconds is a potential Hextech Soul for PGO as a nice black shield there. You can see PGO already has this completely set up. Veneris pushing in the side lane, doesn't have the TP available, so can come in. True Barrage is going to do a lot of damage. Charm's going to land. Look at the back line. Puff Zone diving in, going to find the kills in the back lines as the entire Sensei squad and back line is exploding. Nicholas is going to go down as the Mystic shots are being thrown around, and it's 3 dead for Sensei squad. Veneris is the next on the table, it looks like, as they're trying to collapse on him. This is going to be pretty funny if Odd Mitch is able to find that 1v1 there, but the rest of the team going to go back onto this dragon. The carries for PGO are going to be hitting this inhib and should be able to take it for free. So Hextech Soul and bottom inhib for PGO. They should be able to close this game out with this 7k gold lead in the next couple minutes.
Yeah, and looking pretty clean there. Definitely, just once again, I mean, it really is just so much of a repeat of the last game. Controlling vision around the dragon, prioritizing objectives. They picked up both the Rift Heralds this time, as well as now this Hextech Soul. So Aquatic Bear looking for a last stand.
Yeah, beautiful Everfrost there. Finding 3 members in that Everfrost and just kind of repelling any sort of possible engage there. Oh my goodness. A Whole Grain Man maybe feeling himself a bit too much, but Charizard is here to bail him out. Nicholas. Oh, the 1k shutdown is going to go over to Aquatic Bear, and now PGO could be extended a bit too far here, as Puff Zone in the middle of 4 members should go down as well as they're flying. Yeah. Oh, Aquatic Bear onto Odd Mitch, going to E over the wall. It's only the bot lane left for PGO. But aggressing a bit too far forward and just kind of giving away bounties for fun.
Yeah, I mean, this Viego is really, really strong. Was able, even previous to this play, was able to pick up multiple kills. So 2 items completed plus the Tiamat means that Aquatic Bear is, I mean, I would say arguably the hardest scaling champion in this game, like in terms of kind of side lane situations and kind of the ability to really sort of 1v5 these team fights. I mean, you know, we've seen people do it on Viego in particular, usually, you know, mostly before some of the healing was nerfed on the champion, but still once you have death stance completed, you're gonna still have that really, really strong sustain. So we'll see if Aquatic Bear can kind of have his inspired moment here and find some kind of crazy fight, because the way that it looked in that one, I mean, he's very capable of being a huge factor.
Absolutely. Aquatic Bear, you know, can't put this game on the back of the team, or can't put his team on his back. There we go. That's the right words there. But you know, either way, Baron is going to be spawning in 15 seconds. PGO still has a significant gold lead, 5,000 in favor. They still have that bot lane inhibitor down. So the super minions are going to be flowing in that bottom side, and that's going to force, you know, 1 member of Sensei squad to be down there and clearing the waves. Veneris is down there right now walking over, though. The Baron has already been started up. Does Aquatic Bear have the heroics in him to steal this away. Look at Huffstone on the side, looking for a flank. We saw what it was in the last game, but Holgren Man going in. Charm's gonna land onto Aquatic Bear, but everything's okay for now. Everyone's taking pretty low. Huffstone spotted out, but Aquatic Bear has gone in a bit too early. Maybe as the Baron is 1k HP. Does he have the smite? No! The smite, 46 HP on the Baron. Look at Veneris. The damage is flowing. But Huffstone over the wall is going to find one on the back side. Charizard is spinning Cyclone. His Matrix Shadow is going to go down, maybe flashing up the wall. Another knockup should come soon. Yes, Matrix Shadow is going to fall. And it is a 4 for 2 in favor of PGO. Veneris is going to find Huffstone on the back side. Kind of even up the numbers a little bit, but it is 4 for 3 now.
Meanwhile, the base, though.
Look at the Nexus. One tower has fallen. The next one, the Super Minions. 2 Super Minions are smacking away at it, and it might fall too. Veneris just got here. No, it won't fall. It won't fall. But the mid lane inhib will fall. Probably both inhibs, actually, as you know, these members are still full HP from PGO. And the minions are going to be wearing purple now. Charizard going to get aggressed on by Nicholas. We'll see if they have the damage to follow it up. As Veneris and Nicholas are running him down. Ooh, nice stun there. As Charizard's going to go down. A shutdown for Veneris.
Okay.
Aquatic Bear looking for Odd Mitch.
All right.
Might be able to find him, actually.
Yep.
Oh, no. Odd Mitch will use the flash to get out there, but a little bit of signs of life. A little bit of overextension there from PGO, but giving over a lot of gold, I think just in general, is maybe not the most optimal situation, but either way, I think they're still in full control of this game.
Yeah, I do think they are, and part of it is the lack of agency that the Caitlyn has to control these team fights as the game goes later and later. You know, she does kind of have that. Ooh, Aquatic Bear.
Aquatic Bear could be getting caught here. Holgren Man looking for him, and will find the kill there. That's a really big pick for PGO, as I imagine with these numbers. They're just gonna go in. Veneris, oh no, a bit too far forward. Everfrost's gonna go wide a little bit, but Veneris doing a lot of damage back. Almost one-shotting Holgren Man. Now Huffstone exit ultimatum onto the kid, and is gonna easily take him down. Nicholas gonna try and peel for the mid lane, but there's no peeling to be done. The Camille is too big, and this bottom lane inhib is gonna fall here. Only 2 members left for Sensei squad, and I don't think they're gonna be able to defend this at all as the last Nexus tower falls. The Nexus is under siege. Surprise is looking for some kills, but there are no more left besides the Nexus, as PGO gonna take game 2.
Yeah, PGO claiming the second victory in a little over 33 minutes. Very similar game in the second one to the first, but we did see a little resurgence, some signs of life there from Sensei squad as we went later and later on until Huffstone put his foot down. He was done joking around and just took some matters into his own hands with pretty impressive engage there in the end on the Camille. So really, kind of the same game plan from PGO, going all in on this style of allowing Huffstone to pick something that can scale strong and will be able to eventually out 1v1 his opponent, and has shown that, you know, he has the ability to do that in this matchup against Nick Lal. So going into the third game here, you know, it's going to be do or die for Sensei squad to stay in this series, and I really want to see them give Nick Lals a little bit more to work with here. Try to pick him something that can let him keep up with Huffstone as the game scales longer and longer.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see what sort of adaptations are made in between games here, but we're going to take a short break, but we'll be back for game number 3 to see if Predictive Gaming Odin can take it in 3-0 fashion, or if Sensei Squad is going to force a game 4. Don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss it. And we are back for the pick ban of game number 3 between Sensei Squad and Predictive Gaming Odin. PGO leading the series in 2-0 fashion right now. And my question for you here is, what do you think has to change for Sensei Squad as we go into this game number 3?
I alluded to this at the end of the last or the second game, but I think I would like to see Sensei Squad put Nick Laws on something that has more potential to carry, and maybe shift either probably Veneris primarily into something that can afford to sit back in the lane and take a few disadvantages, maybe fall behind a few CS, but still stay in the game because yeah, I mean, I will say Veneris definitely turned the performance around in a big way as we went through later into the game, but it was just too little, too late. And for me, I've been impressed by Nikolals, especially his ability to get ahead in the early game on these sort of more aggressive champions. But with that being said, obviously Sensei Squad has taken the lead in the early part of both of these two games, so there's no guarantee that of the translation to that into actual objectives, and then later, taking down the Nexus and actually winning the game.
Yeah, so PGO is going to be on the red side this game, so they're going to have counter pick again, similar to game 1.
Yep. And that's the
S-
difficulty too. Sorry to
yeah.
interrupt you, but that's the difficulty because you want to put Nichols on something, aggressive, something with agency, but that doesn't really mesh well with being on the blue side, especially given the fact that, we anticipate PGO to save that counter pick for Huffzone again.
Yeah, and I mean a lot of similar bands that we've been seeing. I believe these are all the bands from the first game, actually. Yes, same bands as the first game. Sensei Squad have the blue side last game, or in game 1 they picked Volley Bear. I actually did enjoy the Volley Bear in that game, so I wouldn't be surprised. But instead, we're gonna get a Zeri for Matrix Shadow.
Yeah, and so that is interesting. Riot just chipping away at this Zeri did receive some additional nerfs in this last patch, and we are going to see the Teemo hover. We did see some requests for Teemo, I believe, in the chat, but are going to be able to flop over to the Wukong instead. So Zeri a little bit weaker, but Wukong getting buffed up on the other side. However, I don't really feel like Charizard made the pick look particularly you know, sh- uh, impressive. It wasn't that he played bad. It was just that I honestly couldn't even tell you that much of what he did in that game because it wasn't it the biggest part. So is going to be flexible again to jungle and top lane, and that's one of the strong things about the pick. So I think it is strong for PGO to at least be able to show that they can flex it and win with it in multiple roles.
Yeah, and I mean I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be sort of the same situation as game number 1, right? Wukong picked
Yep.
R1. I mean, they did Ash Wukong. This time they're doing Wukong Ash, but same sort of
Yep.
situation. As far as I'm aware, though, with these Zeri nerfs, I believe they are kind of, um, pushing her in the direction of going crit. So I believe that the crit build on Zeri is actually gonna be back as the main build. Just due to the fact that she's getting like extra. I believe she gets like ult changes to where like her ult is more effective when she has crit or something like that. Um, but either way, Zillion is gonna be the second champion locked in for Sensei Squad. Um, Third pick here, probably jungle, I would imagine. I mean, I think that's kind of just what we come to see from these
Okay.
squads. And Shyvana gonna be the pick for Aquatic Bear. So,
What? They okay.
oh, they
Okay
locked it.
though. Okay. All right. Oh my god. Oh.
Wow, they locked the Teemo.
All right. All right. We got the Teemo coming through here. I had some other things to say about the other picks, but it is gonna be that little foxy person thing running around the top lane, probably for Huffzone. I mean, theoretically, it could go other places, but probably not. Unless, I mean, to be honest, you're gonna pick Brand, you might as well just pick Teemo next. So it could be the support Teemo. You never know.
It could go anywhere. It literally could go anywhere. It could be
I can't
Teemo
wait to see what Pro
AD.
Comps has to say about this in particular.
Yeah, I mean, it could be Teemo AD carry Ash support even. I mean, the
Yeah, it's
options are
true.
endless. The options
It's
are
true.
absolutely endless here. Victor and Jack's gonna be the bans for PGO, Tryndamere, and the last one coming soon. are going to be taken off the table for Sensei Squad. I wonder if LeBlanc is going to get banned here.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely like to see that banned, just based on the way that the first game went. But with the Tryndamere ban, it definitely does indicate that Sensei Squad is not convinced of where this Teemo is going to go. Do think that it still has a chance to, maybe go down into the bot lane or mid lane. I don't know. I mean, PGO, I think they're maybe just trying to keep it a little bit spicy, keep it a little bit interesting for us. But keeping speaking of interesting picks, I think in a world where we didn't have a Teemo locked in, we would talk a little bit more about, or be a little bit more hyped for this Shyvana. It is, I
Wow.
guess, our second week in a row seeing a jungle Shyvana. Last week we saw Hunter Wolfsteal playing it and actually, having a massive impact, even though they ended up losing. So Galio has been locked in next, which has a lot of synergy with Wukong, in my opinion, but not so much synergy necessarily with the Teemo. So I that one's probably gonna go into the mid lane.
Mid or
Could go
support.
support as well. But I feel like we've been seeing it a little bit more mid lane recently. And it looks like Orianna is gonna be the answer, which will bring some safety, like I kind of like I prescribed to Sensei Squad as how they could stay competitive. So I'm excited to see though. This should probably be the top pick here last, and we'll see if this time Nikolaus gets something a little bit juicier for us. It's
Yeah,
counting
I
down.
mean, I don't even know what you pick here, to be honest, if you're Sensei Squad. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot going on.
All right.
Aurelia, okay.
That's what we have seen. That's kind of the pick that stands out in my mind. In the past,
Hmm.
we casted Sensei Squad, I think losing in a 2-0 to Shadows, and I just remember Nick Law's like just solo
Yeah.
killing young Nats like multiple times on this Aurelia pick. So definitely knows his way around it, and I agree, Rychains, that it's hard to think of what you want to pick in this situation as the Warwick gets locked in for Charizard, which is kind of a staple there. But Aurelia does do well in ranged matchups, in melee matchups too. Certainly some are harder than others, but does have that
Oh,
versatility. So at the end of the day, it must be the Teemo top here, or wait,
Teemo
it must be
mid
Teemo support here
or
or
support.
ADC, right? I
I
don't know what I'm
mean,
saying.
I, we don't even know.
True.
I think
Wukong
is the best
support,
way to put it.
Warwick
No,
top.
I think it'll be Wukong top, Warwick jungle, and then either Ash or Teemo. I mean, either Galio or Teemo, and then whoever the other end is gonna be support.
Yeah.
That's my prediction. Probably,
I mean,
I don't know. I think Surprise is gonna pick. I think Surprise is gonna
yeah,
take Teemo actually,
yeah. I mean, dirty brand player is gonna definitely be the one to lock in Teemo support for sure.
and
Here
it's
for surprise.
I don't. I wonder does Teemo blind block Zerikyu?
That's a good question
I
because
don't think so.
that's kind of a unique. I feel like no, because it's not like an auto. It does. I mean, well, because it does count. Does it count as an auto attack?
I
Like
don't think so.
it certainly, is basically her auto attack. You want to weave in the other autos in between. But I feel
Oh,
like it probably doesn't. I'm not sure. It does make it a
yes,
little
it
bit harder to
does.
hit.
It does.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's actually pretty good. I mean, I still do think that it's probably kind of a meme pick overall, but yeah, I mean that's pretty devastating. Obviously, that is Zeri's kit basically. She has the mobility and all that, but without the Q, you're definitely not going to be doing a lot of damage here for Matrix Shadow. So maybe we got this hidden tech from PGO. I know there was some talk about that with Huff Zone throughout the week, so I assumed it was with him, but I mean, I guess it's with Surprise with these troll support picks instead.
We'll see. We'll see. The pick's coming in here soon.
Yeah, it's
Um, are they allowed to swap or no? Is
not
there a rule about that?
at this point. I believe just mid and top are able to swap. How or no. I'm saying it
Like
wrong. I always get
champions,
this
like
wrong.
trade
They can
champions.
swap champions up until I think 10, 15 seconds or something like that. 20, 29 seconds. I don't know. Some amount of seconds they can swap the champions up. So they could do that. Could look to
Okay.
troll us a little bit. And I mean, that would be the thing to do, right? Like
I
if you're gonna
think you're
pick Teemo.
muted or something happened.
There's
I
another
don't know. I
theory.
don't know what
Hear me
happened
out.
there, but yeah,
I'm
always
just gonna
something to look
say
out for.
Sorry, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
to see if. Oh wait, maybe I just disconnected actually.
Oh, you may have disconnected. I can hear you. I was just gonna say, you know, putting it out there that Wukong bot lane with Ashe support, you know, slowing them down. This is another option. They really are limitless here for PGO, so we'll have to see if they trade at the end. Overall, looking at the team comps, I do like the scaling offered from Sensei Squad though, because Oriana definitely going to scale pretty hard, as well as the Zeri. And even though the Teemo will be annoying for the Zeri, he surprise isn't going to be in a position to be blinding Zeri as we get into later team fights. It's really more of a lane phase counter, if anything.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it actually is going to be pretty valuable against Aurelia as well.
That's fair.
Just due to the fact that it kind of halts Aurelia in her place. So oh, okay, so they are swapping. Let's see if they swap back. I'm gonna go with
I think
15
it's past.
just because you said 15 as the
I actually think it's more.
threshold.
I
But
think it's
it
past. I
should
think
be more.
it's
It should be about 20. But
yeah.
either way, yeah. I mean, the whole Great Man's gonna be taking Teemo in the mid lane here.
Okay.
Into
Okay.
Oriana. So I think honestly, I
It could be
think
worse. I mean, it's into a matchup that's definitely not going to like pressure him as hard as like, I don't know, something like a LeBlanc would or something like that. But yeah, so I mean, I guess he'll probably just be looking to farm through lane phase. I mean, I don't imagine that you would have a large amount of pressure on Oriana either. Oriana's auto attacks are buffed up by the passive, but certainly she doesn't need them to like that's not her primary form of wave clear necessarily. So
I think yeah. I mean, I don't think that Teemo should be able to play in this lane at all.
I
But
mean, you
that's
are
my opinion.
I mean, well, here's what I'll say. I think that the first couple levels as Teemo, if you can substantially damage the Oriana and kind of push her out of the lane and build a little bit of an XP advantage, you're pretty much going to look to use that to like roam around. But at the same time that I say that, it's Teemo. It doesn't have any wave clear at all. So your ability to push out the lane and do that is limited. And then I do agree with you. Like once Oriana just gets a few levels under her belt and kind of hits that first like lost chapter and especially first full item, she just outranges. And I mean, there's no way Teemo can ever be in it. But PGO as always keeping it interesting for us in this one with this pick.
Yep, interesting compositions all around here. We're gonna take a short break for the competitive integrity spectator delay, but we'll be back for game number 3 of the Thursday quarterfinals between PGO and Sensei Squad.
Everybody panic! Hold on! I'm about to say something really cool. 3, 41, 9, and lift off! No one dies screaming without me. I feel like I forgot to shoot something. You're starting to bore me. She's such a loser, always ready to cry. Ah, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
And we are back onto the Rift for game number 3 between PGO and Sensei Squad. PGO back on the red side. Huffzone on Wukong in the top lane. Charizard on Warwick in the jungle. Whole Grain Man bringing out the Teemo in the mid lane. And Odd Mitch and Surprise rounding out the bottom lane with the Ashe and the Galio. Hold on one second here as Aquatic Bear might be in trouble. Caught on the wrong side of the Rift.
Yeah, I think he should be able to run it out. Does also have the Ghost, if that was actually needed, but Charizard is going to try to set that up. So
Wow.
the Ghost will be popped, but pretty short cooldown.
Nicholas started E also. I think that's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I don't think that that's ideal at all for the Aurelia, especially in the matchup that's going to bring this much pressure with the Wukong bringing the Ignite. But speaking of the Aurelia, on the blue side, we do have the Sensei Squad with potentially their last hurrah here on Summoner's Rift in the CCS this split. If they cannot find the victory, Nicholas in the top lane on the Aurelia. We got Aquatic Bear, Shyvana in the jungle, Veneris in the mid lane with Orianna, Matrix Shadow on the Zeri. And then you know the kid, you know what it is, has the Zillion this time. So a little late on the intro there, but nothing happening so far. Oh, we missed. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, you didn't get to give your prediction, bro.
Yeah, it's okay.
You would have been wrong.
It's okay.
My play-by-play caster thought that Teemo was going to camp the bush.
I was thinking Whole Grain Man was gonna do some sort of cheese action, like every good Teemo player does, and just get an early first blood and burn flash. But instead they invaded. You know what? If Aquatic Bear didn't get caught on the other side of the rift there, on the other side of that wall, he would have done it. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, I mean, they went for the invade, or I mean, not really even. I guess they kind of went for the stack at the beginning instead and didn't get anything out of it. But already here, you know, even just level 2, you can see like, yes, Whole Grain Man can blind away there with the Q, but Veneris is able to trade back pretty well, and Whole Grain Man does pick up the press the attack here. I guess, you know, maybe I'm not as familiar with Teemo builds, ride chains, but I mean, I know that this is a pretty common choice, even if you are going to end up building AP, but I feel like he might struggle to actually get, like, proc the press of the attack, specifically against Orianna in this mid lane, where, you know, there's not as long as in the top lane.
Yeah, I agree, actually. I mean, Orianna's going to pretty much outrange you all around. As some fighting going down in the bottom lane here, but yeah, it's going to be pretty hard, I think, for Whole Grain Man to ever proc that. Usually you see it taken into, like, you know, melee matchups where you're going to be able to easily proc and abuse that press the attack bonus damage, but I don't know. I'm not seeing much I'm not seeing it gonna happen a lot here in this game. But you know, we'll see what happens as the laning phase goes on here. But for the time being, not much has happened. Junglers taking their resets. Oh no, Charizard staying around. Maybe gonna look for something. Surprise has the flash with the taunt too, man. It looks good. Charizard's running in, but a beautiful double bomb from the Kid, flashing forward is Charizard, but they just can't find any kills, and a nice job by the Sensei squad bottom lane to just absorb that play.
Yeah, it's 4 for 2 in summoner spells in the favor of the Sensei squad, with only the flash from the Kid and then the heal from Matrix Shadow being used. All 3 flashes blown on the side of PGO. So moving forward, that is going to be a big advantage as Charizard continues to stay around this bottom lane here. But as we were seeing in the top side, Nick Lulz is taking advantage of this pick.
Matrix gonna get taunted up again. Has the flash available. It's gonna use it, but Charizard follows him and will get the first blood, but the Ignite is taking down, and the Kid is gonna find the kill in return.
Yeah, and it's the Warwick Q, the Warwick expert here we have in Charizard, and he uses it as if he is, showing that he is that expert with the Q, following the flash. Also just kind of an unfortunate flash there from Matrix. Thought that it looked like he was deciding to hold on to it after he didn't flash away from the Galio taunt. I just thought that he would probably hold that one for the next fight, but does end up using it. So, the Kid trading back is nice to get the 1-for-1, but I think that it is a little bit of an advantage for PGO considering the loss of that summoner spell as well. And, once again, Veneris finally able to look a little bit better in this matchup.
Yeah, it's kind of, something that we came to expect here. Okay, man, just autoing for fun.
Press the attack.
Evenly, yeah. And press the attack was proc there. Dragon's going to go over to PGO. So more of the same. Early domination in the neutral objectives for Charizard and Predictive Gaming Odin. We'll see if Surprise can find something in this mid lane, but no flash. So I don't know. I don't think so.
No flash on Surprise. Also, Veneris still has flash of his own available, and with the trading pattern that we saw there, going quite a bit longer, with Teemo being able to proc the press the attack, that's when things look good. But Nick Lulz is in trouble.
Getting cycloned on. The second knockup comes through with the Ignite taking down, and Huffstone's going to flash under the tower and take the kill. Solo kill in the top lane for Huffstone.
It is the solo bolo kill coming through from Huffstone, who has been the, really the more successful top laner in this series. I do want to take into account what, kind of the tools that Nick Lulz has been given. But Zone has been playing very, very well, and there it's just a matter of counting the XP as Matrix Shadow does get away, and just a little bit of an advantage for Huffstone, and he takes advantage of it.
Yeah, and look at Odd Mitch just smacking down, the Kid here with these autos and Aquatic Bear into this bottom lane. Here we go. Matrix Shadow's under threat. One more auto should do it there, and Odd Mitch is going to find the kill, but will go down to Aquatic Bear. Surprise is going to fall as well here, so a double kill for Aquatic Bear. It's going to feel very nice for Sensei Squad's jungler.
Yeah, it certainly will. And Shyvana, you know, we see this attack, you know, those 2 daggers being picked up so far. So going for some sort of attack speed build could be the attack speed sort of AP style with Nasher's Tooth. We see that oftentimes with this champion. Could be more of a, you know, old style on hit build, but I feel like that's like a little bit less likely. But either way, it will scale really hard. I had mentioned Hunter Wolfsteel for Iconic playing it last week, and you know, he showcased that as well, that that E starts to just do so much damage if you do decide to go that AP route. Otherwise, lots of skirmishing capabilities for this champion.
Yeah, definitely. Shyvana's, you know, one of these champions, like you said, that can have a lot of different builds. You know, the AP. Oh, hold on. Bottom lane is Chance's Arrow is going to find Matrix Shadow. No dash is available and does have the heal, though. And Odd Mitch is just firing away these arrows. Whole Grain Man in the mid lane going under the tower. Yeah, okay. Veneris going to find the solo kill in the top lane. Nick Wall is in the 1v2 situation trying to find the damage, but no. As Huffstone's going to find another kill. And PGO has an early game lead.
They do have an early game lead, even with Whole Grain Man dying under the turret to Veneris. The tables have been, well, actually the tables have not been turned because he died under the opponent's turret. But either way, it is Veneris just kind of getting a free lane face
Oh
here.
my gosh, Aquatic Bear's in. Beautiful double bomb. You know the kid. As Warwick Ultimate's going to be channeled out, it's going to be traded 1-for-1, jungler for jungler. As of now, Veneris has made their way here as Huffstone now could be in trouble. We'll just use that W in the blast cone to get away. Colgan Man's on the way. Veneris. This could be a little bit too far for Veneris. As Nicholas is on the way. No shockwave yet. As Huffstone's going to go back in. Deal some damage back. Nicholas has the stun. It is proper and it is true. And the 450 is going to go over to Nicholas.
Yeah, so Nicholas is able, well, really it's Aquatic Bear buying enough time Veneris buying enough time for Nicholas to get back up there, and getting the kill credit at the end of that is going to be very important for Aurelia to stay competitive with Huffzone, who notably did take Ignite into the teleport, so there will be some more ability to answer this split push or split push himself for Nicholas, but Charizard would like to punish this.
No,
not going to be able to do so.
They expended Ashe ulti for that as well.
Yep. And it's going to be, I think, at least one turret plate.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I think they got one at least. I think Nicholas got one turret plate at least. So that's a good amount of gold traded back on top of the 450 he got from the kill. So went back to base. I didn't see what items he had before, but looking like he's a little bit closer to Huffzone now. If not, maybe even a little bit ahead. But the Cull and Tier.
Yeah.
I didn't. I don't know if did he build that in game 1? I don't remember.
I don't remember that. I don't
interesting
remember the
choice.
But yeah, I mean, Nicholas 300 gold up now on Huffzone, which is very interesting. Surprise. He's gonna get surprised there as Aquatic Bear goes Dragon, and gonna miss the E for now. But Veneris chunking out Whole Grain Man a little bit as the Dragon is started up by Sensei squad. I would imagine PGO is gonna want to fight this.
Ashe ult coming up soon. Just a couple
Aquatic Bear's
seconds.
so low. There it is. Headshot onto Aquatic Bear's heroic entrance over the top as Choctave's gonna find 2, but it doesn't matter because Oddmitch is gonna get the kill credit on the enemy jungler, so the Dragon is gonna be free and over to PGO.
I don't really understand what was preventing Sensei from just rushing that. I don't understand. Like,
oh, top lane fight. Huffzone looking for the 1v1 again as ultimates come out, but the Monkey King is superior. Gonna win out in that 1v1 as now Oddmitch could be in trouble here. Final spark comes through as the double palm is proper, and Oddmitch is gonna flash away to safety, but I don't think the flash will save you as Matrix has a flash of his own. Gonna find a 600 gold shutdown on that Ashe.
yeah, that's huge for the Zeri to pick up that gold, given that Matrix has fallen substantially behind in this game. 21 CS down on Oddmitch's Ashe, which has looked really good in this series, but Aquatic Bear
Looking for Huffzone under the tower. Oh,
Got
not
it.
enough damage. Oh yeah, actually Red Smite should be enough.
Oh, he doesn't!
Oh!
Oh.
Wow, the refillable potion is enough to keep Huffzone alive. Almost
The
actually got the
emote.
return kill in the emote. Chucking it up for good measure.
God. Yeah, that was really, really close. I think Aquatic Bear definitely thought that the Red Smite would have enough to finish it out there. Also did not want to die to the turret, obviously, but Huffzone keeping himself alive will be big, and another Rift Herald going over to PGO, who has just been super, super dominant over these neutral objectives, I would say all series long. Picking up the soul there in game 1. We saw both Rift Heralds going over in game 2, and really the same story here again. I would say the only difference is Whole Grain Man in the mid lane, who has managed to keep up in CS, but has not fared very well in the 1v1 kind of, skirmishing back and forth here with the Orianna, and I would imagine that will continue as we go through the game. But I said that before about the pick for Whole Grain Man, that it would get outscaled. It wasn't Teemo before, I'll say that, but yeah, you never know what he can do, I guess. Is here we see the bush camping that you were waiting for, but nothing.
No,
Nope.
I mean, yeah, there's no action happening right now, but what I'm thinking is like right where the kid is standing, kind of just hovering around that wall and just going in level 1. Ooh, double bomb onto Odd Mitch. We'll see if there's any damage to follow up, but instead Odd Mitch is running away after hitting that double bomb because the numbers are in favor of PGO in this play. Dragons wanting in 2.5, and it's 2 dragons to 0 in favor of PGO. So, like we've mentioned, like we've said, in every single game this series, the neutral objectives have been dominated by Charizard. And you have to imagine that Aquatic Bear, kind of wants to get some of this done, but Aquatic Bear hasn't been able to find many ganks in general to get done. With that being said, Herald spawned in this top lane. This tower is going to go down. That's going to be first tower. Gold is going to be influxed into Huffzone on this Wukong.
Yeah, the gold really being funneled up onto the top side. Again, this static sort of identity has worked out really well for them, but Odd Mitch...
Oh, Odd Mitch! Oh!
Doesn't even need it.
All right, he came through in the top lane, though. Nicholas running for the hill. Stand United. Flash taunt is true from surprise, but the Chrono Break is there to revive Nick Lulz, and he's going to be able to come back alive with the Shelly getting the charge on the inner tower. But nonetheless, Flash is burned by a lot of those PGO members. It's going to be 2 flashes traded for 0 in that top play.
Yeah, so is the positive trade of summoner spells again. The question is whether or not they can actually do something with that, because we've seen this occur even earlier in this very game, that these flashes are blown from Sensei squad, but can they continue to target that side of the map? We'll see, I guess, is the answer here, as Matrix Shadow has been able to just farm up a lot in the bot lane, and did opt for the Essence Reaver as first item. I know, Rychains, you were talking about kind of these crit builds that are coming up a little bit more. So that is going to be the first choice, which does give the crit, and then Noon Quiver as well is going to indicate that, yes, it will indeed be the crit build for this area. What do you anticipate for the Noon Quiver item, though?
I mean, either Gale Force or Kraken, probably. I think you don't really need, I don't think you really need Shield, though, in this game. There's not that much burst damage that, is going to burst you down 100 to 0. I think Kraken is what people are seeing, but I also haven't seen Crit Zarya being built in a really long time, so...
I mean, I know, Zarya is already a very mobile champion. There's kind of an argument that Gale Force is even better on those kind of champions, but also in terms of stats, I know that AD carry mains everywhere rip me to shreds. We gotta fight.
Here we go. Enchantress Arrow's gonna find the mark on to Aquatic Bear, and just gonna get absolutely destroyed there in the middle of 4 members. And PGO again, first to the play, getting the pick, and are gonna be able to take down this dragon with no jungler coming out from Sensei squad.
Yeah, Sensei squad trying to contest for an objective that they've already lost control over the area.
Let's go. We like that double bomb there. Over the top. Charizard trying to find the ultimate, but not going to find the mark there, as Odd Mitch is going to go and find that kill. Matrix has to run for the hills, and we'll just bounce over that wall. But 3 dragons to 0. Soul point at 16.5 minutes. And, PGO is looking real good.
Yeah, yikes. Yeah, I mean, it's looking difficult here for Sensei squad. Nick Laws was able to, or did stay in the top lane.
Oh my gosh, Matrix Shadow going over the wall. Aggressing far forward. Unfortunately for PGO, no punish was available there, and Odd Mitch is just smacking away at the tower in the bottom lane. For the time being, you know, gold is still even. 2 kills in favor of PGO, and the neutral objectives have been all theirs, but look at in the side, Charizard coming around the back. Matrix Shadow is way too far forward. I think as a Chrono Break is going to revive the Sensei Squad AD carry for the time being. Warwick does not have ultimate yet, so can't really dive forward, but numbers advantage for Sensei Squad as they push through mid. Enchantress Arrow is not going to find the mark. Charizard's going to get double bombed up. They could look for him here as the Hero's entrance over the top. Not going to find any knockups.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you point out, right, Chains, you know, that this gold is, in fact, fairly even. A little bit of a lead for PGO, but, you know, overall, for it being 18 minutes in-ish, it really not that much. Just have a 700 about gold lead here, and I feel like that is the story of this series, is just how much you can do with the gold that you have, because PGO, I mean, you know, if you took away the gold, I would say it really looks to me like they're ahead, just kind of the way that they're playing. But I do have to give some credit to Sensei Squad here in this last, you know, couple minutes or so, pushing up into the mid lane and trying to use some of the sieging ability that is, you know, you do have with Zillion in particular, but also even Orianna offering more range than at least the Teemo as far as wave clear goes. So burning a lot of cooldowns, and it is important to keep in mind that these team fights could definitely turn one way or the other. I mean, you know, Nick Laws, he has fallen victim to these ganks early, but the Aurelia can get going.
Odd Mitch is just absolutely slamming these Enchanted Crystal arrows right now, but there really is no follow-up there, as the Herald is half HP from Aquatic Bear, 4k. Double Bomb's not going to stun anyone, and the Whole Grain Man is just zoning out 2 members here with these Teemo Shrooms. Herald's going to go down as Aquatic Bear's going to go in. Just going to die. Shockwave's going to hit 2, but look at Odd Mitch on the side here, getting 1 kill, finding the 1v1 victory against Matrix Shadow, and Whole Grain Man is running down Veneris. One more auto should be enough with the poison, but the speed and the shields are too much from the Orianna. Herald's going to go over to PGO as well as 3 kills.
Yeah, and PGO just say thanks for the leash. Aquatic Bear trying to make, you know, something happen. Oh, this 1v1 though.
Top lane. Nicholas gonna find it. Nicholas should find the 1v1. Yes, will turn it around. Ignite comes down from Huffstone, but it's not enough as now the Herald spawn in this mid lane. Tier 2 is gonna fall. Shelly should be able to get 1 more charge off onto the inhib tower, but that'll regen. Oh no, Smite Aquatic Bear, so.
Yeah, and I mean, it's still, even with that going through, you know, all of a sudden the gold lead has jumped to 3.2k, you know, like just as I was talking about how there wasn't that much of a gold lead. But this is the reason why I was kind of lobbying for Nick Laws to get something like the Aurelia. He was ganked a lot early on. I don't really necessarily think that it was his fault falling behind in the matchup, because in the actual 1v1 it seemed like it was generally pretty okay, and is able to take down the kill there, even with the Ignite being there and used for Huff Zone. So I think from here on out, he has it is kind of a skill matchup, but I do think Nicholas has a pretty good shot at continuing to have the advantage in this lane. But it's just kind of too late, you know, as that arrow does go wide. Or I guess that's the question for me, is it too late, I guess. Will the rest of Sensei be able to hold the line for long enough for Nick Laws? And they're going to try to do something bot lane. I don't know what.
I don't think they can. I mean, Dragon spawning in 48 seconds, or actually 35 seconds now. His teleport's coming in from Veneris, so we're going to get a 5v5 here. You got to, you know, it's so point here.
Gale Force.
I like the Gale Force Ash build a lot, actually. I think it works very well with the champion, but we're not going to talk about that now. As Puffstone looking for the 1v1 onto Veneris. Shockwaves and ultimates are being used. 1 HP as Veneris is running for the hills, but Nicola is going to go down. Look at Charizard on the flank, going to bite the robot. Going a killing spree there, and the dragon is going to be all PGO. Should be able to carry this Mountain Soul for themselves here. And honestly, they could just look to go Baron. I don't think there's anyone stopping them, but as Aquatic Bear is trying to get mid tower, but it's going to be hard. I mean, you can't really, because Odd Mitch is chasing you down. Face checking in is a little bit scary there, as Enchantress Arrow is going to find the stun, and now Aquatic Bear trying to turn it around. Use the Ghost in, challenging Smite over the top, but there's too much peel from this Ashe. You know, too many slows and too much soft CC there where Aquatic Bear can't get on him unless you have the ultimate.
Yeah, and just the frost shot from Ashe. That's kind of the idea of it, I guess, is that, you know, it makes her really hard to play melees against, and Odmich just totally showcasing that there as he's able to kite it out and get a little bit of help from Surprise on the back end of that play. But, you know, Veneris, once again, even after winning lane. Oh,
Nicholas should be able to find this. Yeah. I mean, that's just easy. It's that easy. But on the other side of the map, though, Matrix Shadow going in, but Odmich is flashing forward and gonna find a solo kill there. PGO finishing up the Baron. They're gonna be wearing purple, and now the rest of Sensei Squad is going in one by one. They are gonna get wiped out, and 3 kills for 1 in favor of PGO. They're wearing the Baron and they're pushing down mid.
They are gonna push right down this mid lane. Probably gonna be able to pick up an inhibitor turret, I would think here. They only have like 3 minions, and they are not going to have a champion tank the turret for some reason. But
they have another wave.
Yeah, they do have. They have another minion wave. You're right.
Woohoo! Again, Odmich headshotted. Aquatic Bear has to use the ultimate to get out. Fear is gonna come through from Charizard going under the towers. Maybe a little bit too far forward. Charizard should be traded back. As I don't know, this might dispel the rest of the PGO aggression. You know the kid's gonna flash forward with the double bomb, but it's not really gonna get anything done.
So yeah, it will be Sensei Squad not allowing the game to end quite yet, as Charizard just pushes up a little bit too far and does end up getting taken down. So PGO just gonna go back to the base, spend all of this gold that they have. They still have the Baron available for some time, and Odmich definitely playing at a very high level in this series. You know, we had talked about earlier how there's been some swapping back and forth in these bot lane positions. Odmich has been the AD carry 1 week, Surprise the next. I think they've been struggling to kind of find some comfort there as to the right fit, but it seems like this is kind of what they've settled on, and if Odmich is able to play this well through the playoffs, it's going to put them in a pretty strong spot.
Yeah, and I believe Odmich has started off the series, or started off the season as a support, right? Oh, hold on.
He started last season, he was support.
Yeah,
this season he started AD.
Oh, heroic entrance over the top, and this is going to be enough to take down Nicholas. You would have loved to see that kill go over to Holgren, man, but nonetheless, Surprise is going to take the credit for that one as Offzone tries to look for the 1v2. Oh my gosh, is able to take down Aquatic Bear, and now it's the run for the hills, but look at the other side here as Matrix is getting attacked by the Warwick. Chrono Break is going to get the revive here as Odmich is in the area, and this is just a really bad situation. If you're on Sensei Squad here, Matrix Shadow is going to go down. You know the kid is going to go down. A double kill for Charizard as the bottom lane tier 2 is going to fall as well, and it's time for PGO to just ravage the base of Sensei Squad.
It is time, and even though Huffzone is just running out of the base trying to get in on the fun, Charizard already trying to push in towards the Nexus turrets. And he's gonna get stunned up.
Stunned up as they're going for him. Nice fear there, though, by Charizard as this bottom lane inhibitor tower is under threat. Holgren man is just, you know, shooting away at it. Does have 2 items completed now, and his heart is hurting on this Teemo.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and full credit to Holgren man. You know, he is in fact doing that damage, but
oh my gosh,
really a beneficiary of the team.
Nicholas stun onto 2. Here we go into the backline. Enchantress Arrow is gonna find Matrix Shadow as Nicholas falls. Huffzone trying to find Matrix Shadow and will easily find Matrix Shadow, but a 3-man shockwave doesn't really mean a whole lot as the Nexus towers are under siege. They're still going as we're on to the Zillion now. You know the kid gonna use that Chrono Break, but it's only gonna delay the inevitable. A 4 for 0. Veneris trying to find 1 kill, traded back as he will find Holgren man, but gonna get taunted up and taken down. Double kill for Huffzone. The Nexus towers are falling, and PGO is gonna take the series 3-0.
PGO, they've had a tough split, but they avoid the choking when it really matters here against Sensei Squad. No nonsense whatsoever in this series. You know, Sensei Squad did have some moments of success in some of these early games, but by the end here, PGO just showcasing absolute dominance, showing that they really are the superior players, both individually as well as a squad as a whole. And they show us that tonight, and I think that it definitely makes whoever ends up facing them, whether it's Shadows or Goldfish, I think it does. I think you come out of this series thinking of PGO as a little bit stronger than you might have in the regular season.
Yeah, and I think if you're, if you're one of these teams moving forward, you have to kind of exploit the weak early game a little bit harder from PGO. Now, obviously, they've shown that they are very, very capable of coming back into the later game, and even game 3, they're actually ahead in the early game, so it shows that they can play both ways. But like we've mentioned before, and like we've seen this entire season, they do have a tendency to get a little bit behind in the early game, but nonetheless looked very, very strong today, able to come back and take these big team fight victories. And we're gonna throw it to a break, but we're gonna get an interview with the mid laner from PGO, Whole Grain Man. You're not gonna want to miss it, so don't go anywhere.
Everybody, panic!
And we are back with the winning mid laner, Whole Grain Man from PGO. Whole Grain Man, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, lads.
Yeah, so I guess just to start it off, I mean, how are you feeling off the back of that 3-0, clean sweep in the quarterfinals?
Pretty good. I think we were favored from all the predictions, so maybe not too surprising, but a nice quick one.
Yeah, and
A bit unlike PGO's record.
Absolutely. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just gonna say, all the predictions went that way, but we've seen weirder things for sure. So definitely has to be reassuring for your team to take the series in such dominant fashion. But we can't ignore it. We're not gonna dance around it. Tell us about this Teemo pick in the third game. Was this kind of just a flex or a troll, or were you imprisoned and forced into it? Like, what's going on here?
Well, the story is I heard some little birdies telling me I wasn't getting many CCS All-Star votes compared to these other guys. Even though I beat all the top players this regular season. So to entice votes, I put that 20 reacts for a Teemo mid, and I of course got to follow through. I only had to hold my team hostage a little bit in draft and force them, but
Okay, all right. So you're the one who was holding them hostage. So I mean, it ended up working out, obviously. So you know, we'll maybe see it in the bands in the future here. But you know, you move on now to the semifinals, where obviously you'll be against either Goldfish or Shadows, who did end up getting the second seed. So you know, it will be Goldfish's choice. But do you have I don't know if you know you're allowed to share this, but do you have an anticipation of you know who you think you're going to be against in that semifinal matchup?
I mean, I'm pretty sure we're gonna be against Goldfish. I heard that they're like ego players that they just want to pick the hardest matchup to try to prove something. But
Yeah, I mean that certainly has been the theme in the CCS. You know, you unfortunately fell victim to it last split from Collective, but you know, kind of speaking of last split versus this split, you're back into the semifinals, and I'm wondering if you know how do you evaluate kind of this your team and how you're playing right now as a 5-man unit in comparison to your team going into semifinals last year. I know that there's, you know, obviously a one player difference, a little bit of a positional difference too for Oddmitch, but you know, do you feel like you're stronger this year? I know there's been some bumps in the road.
stronger this year compared to last year. I mean, probably. I mean, we've all probably grown as a team. Um, I think our comms are probably a little bit better. Surprise brings a lot of good voice to the team. So our playstyle is a little bit different with Wake not being on the team, but I think it's a good thing. We've had some success with it.
Yeah, and so, you know, you mentioned Wake not being on the team anymore, kind of was known for playing some of those weak side bottom picks, just like living up to his name. So, you know, it seemed like this series you were maybe going back to that a little bit more, you know, with the Ezreal and the Ashe. So, again, I know you don't want to give away too much, but do you feel like you're settling into a specific kind of play style as a team as we kind of go through the playoffs here, or I suppose you don't want to pigeonhole yourself too much?
I probably won't say too much, but I mean, I think we have the flexibility to play a lot of different champs. I think this series is the first time we pulled out LeBlanc and Wukong and all of CCS this season. So I finally got my way and got to play my favorite champion. So I'm happy at least.
Absolutely. And yeah, well, I really appreciate you joining us, Whole Grain Man. Anything that you have to say to the faithful fans out there um, before we let you go for the evening?
I will say only the true faithful fans will remember that I did play Team Mid before
Oh,
in the CCS All Stars last season against
oh,
Mr. P Huff
Oh,
Zone himself,
I
and
remember. Yeah.
might have gave him the big L. Let's just say.
you just used this time to flame your own teammate. That's a great decision, definitely. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I blame Rychains because he literally casted that. So
I
definitely
did.
should have remembered.
I did. Yeah. That one's on me. I didn't remember it till just now,
Come
but it was a
on, dude.
little. It was strange. I
What
remember it
is
was pretty
this?
strange. It was.
All right.
But
Well,
yeah.
you know, yeah. All right, Chains. I think you could send us out, baby.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you guys for watching this first quarterfinals matchup here. Be back next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. for the semifinals of year one in the CCS. We might see PGO back on here. We might see someone else. I don't think the other series ended yet, so we don't really know what's happening over there. But nonetheless, thank you guys for watching. Have a good week, and we'll see you next time.